I'm Peter White. I'm the television editor at Deadline. Thank you for joining us. We have a great panel here, another HBOMax show, The Flight Attendant. We have with us today executive producer and actor Kaley Cuoco, actors Rosie Perez, Zosia Mamet, and Michelle Gomez. Before we talk about this show, let's watch a clip.
Did you break into my friend's apartment?
Definitely, yes, for work.
For what she did for work.
She knows the truth. Listen to me. Listen to me. She knows that Alex was killed over stolen money, which completely exonerates me. So in exchange for her help, we need you to negotiate protection for her.
She wants immunity?
Yeah, you can do that, right? I told her you could do that. Listen, she's got info for the FBI that she could trade. I'm talking lionfish, weapons. There's a lot of stuff.
Have you ever committed a crime?
Yes.
Have you ever knowingly lied to a law enforcement officer?
Yes.
Have you ever stolen identities, traveled under falsified documents, ever carried an illegal weapon?
Yeah, to all of that, yes.
Okay, have you ever killed someone?
Definitely, yes. Yesterday
Okay.
was the most recent.
Yesterday.
I know. Annie, she knows the truth. This can help me.
I get that, but I can't just walk someone like her into the FBI and like magically make this all go away. Are you kidding?
Well, you said she could help.
Okay, listen, you defend all those mob wives. Why not her?
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Kaley, let's start with you. You play Cassie, and you also got this show off the ground. From what I gather, just reading the log line from the Amazon link, and you went and got the book. What was it about this that you wanted to make and play?
Well, I really liked the cover of the book, and they said, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, but I did. No, in all seriousness, I really did read two sentences. I don't know how many people believe that story, but it is true. And I got this chill of like, oh my God, this could be really cool. Is this a movie? Is this a show? What is this? So I dove right in and got the rights about 6 months later. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? But I just loved, I mean, Cassie is kind of an actor's dream. I feel like I played 10 roles in one show. I got to kind of do all the things, be funny, be sad, be depressing, be exciting. It was an actor's dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Zosia, you play Annie, who is Cassie's best friend and a lawyer for some questionable people, I guess is a nice way of putting it. What made you want to play Annie?
I mean, I loved the pilot when I read it. I've been saying in press that it was one of those things which is so rare that you read it and you're just like hungry for more, which I think is the thing that sort of makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck in a really good way as any sort of creative individual. And I loved the material. I loved the character, but I feel like the moment that I knew I wanted to do this role was when Kaley and I had a chemistry read together. And it was just like, she booped my nose, and it's when you meet the people that are involved and something really, such a cliche thing, but something really jumps off the page. And I just knew that, this amazing human being at the helm was going to totally go to the mattresses for this show with everyone she was in a scene with, including me. And I was like, I want to be a part of this.
And Michelle, you've played some baddies in your time. How does Miranda compare?
Miranda is up there, close to the top. She puts the ass into bad ass. Okay, that's so. But she's, she's not as bad as you think she is, and then she kind of develops into kind of a real person by the end who you might want to have a drink with, but I would be careful though where she might take you, because I think the thing about her being bad, as you say, is her unpredictability. So she's I liked her because you never quite knew where you were with her, and that was fun to play.
Rosie, you play Megan, a friend of Cassie's, a fellow flight attendant who's keeping some of her own secrets. What was it about her that you fancied?
Megan, that she was not what she seemed. That's what Steve Yockey had told me, and I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, And as I kept diving into the character, it all just clicked. You know, you always see a head flight attendant seems so put together and just so capable, and inside she's just crying continuously because she hates her life. And I just thought that was hilarious. I love her. I mean, you know, to go to the lengths of spying for North Korea just to feel important, it's pretty pathetic, you know. And I ate it up. I mean, I remember the day when Steve Yockey, I said, you have to tell me what her secret is. I have to know. I don't like this TV thing. From beginning, middle, and end. And he goes, all right. And he told me the secret, and I went, oh, thank you. It's genius.
So you learned it.
I love her because she's lovable and vulnerable and just, you know, it's just a lot. Like Kaley was stating, it was so much to work with. It was so much. It was such a great role to dive into.
And very different characters. And Kaley, one of the reasons this show seems to work is because of the dynamic between each of these individuals, right, in different ways. Can you talk about that? You have these very different relationships with each of these people who have relationships with each other in some cases.
That's what was so cool. I think obviously when I originally thought of what this show would be, it was definitely a one season and out, you know. And then as we started shooting and when we aired, of course, people really fell in love with these characters. And they're like, wait a minute, well, what happens to Megan? And what is Annie? Is she in trouble? Like, people really fell in love with them. And you take any of these two characters, any of them, and put them in a room, there's something ridiculous that's going to happen. So we were like, we want to tell a little bit more of these stories and see where they go. And that's the beauty of all these actors. Any two people, all the people I got to work with, all of you guys, every day it was like a new adventure on what we were going to do. I mean, true powerhouses that got me through, because I truly felt like I'd come from such a different world that this was actually quite new to me. And it was amazing to be surrounded by these women.
Yeah, and you come out of the comedy world, like you say, and you're entering this show into the Emmys comedy category. How do you balance that? Obviously, it's got a bit of a darker tone than perhaps some of your past work.
Definitely, there's definitely not an audience clapping when I say anything, so that was hard to get used to. But we, you know, we thought long and hard about, was this a drama or was this a comedy? But we feel the tone was so unique and actually quite difficult to be able to make people laugh in such dark instances that it was deserved as a comedy for sure. And all of these actors had that in them. They had that quirky side. No matter how dark it got, they were able to make it light again and make it funny. And all of a sudden you were so upset, but then you'd laugh at an expression that someone made but it was just a very specific tone that I truly feel was rare and that you don't see a lot on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Rosie, Michelle, you're both on the lam at the end of the first season. Have you guys figured out where you're going to be?
Yes, I think that Rosie and I would probably head off to I think maybe Vegas, you know, and maybe a little bit of the Bellagio. Could do that. Maybe taking a show. Maybe Cirque du Soleil is still playing. I'm not sure who's there now. It was COVID, so it's difficult. But I think our characters would go off into the sunset together and have a wonderful time somewhere in the sun with a daiquiri. Although I don't like daiquiris, but Miranda does, so we would have some daiquiris together.
Talking of which, you've been renewed for a second season, so congratulations. Kaley, where are you at with it? I guess you're sort of heading into CIA training at some point.
Well, you know, I was very clear when we decided we wanted to do a second season. I didn't want Cassie all of a sudden to be like an FBI agent, you know, amazing. That was just not what we wanted her to be. She's still going to be, you know, the girl that everything's happening around her. I think we are going to be adding in that slight CIA asset on the side. But, you know, as you heard, we moved to California. And so Cassie moves to LA, first year sober. She makes all the wrong decisions on what you're not supposed to do when you become sober. And she's going to learn very quickly that it's not as easy as she thought.
No. Well, look, we're looking forward to seeing more. So thank you very much for joining us. Kaley, Zosia, Rosie, Michelle, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.